Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.
And I didn't realize the actual decimation of that overfishing was doing to the shark population.
Sure.
And how 1/3 of the species is near extinction.
Mm-hmm.
How, as David Attenborough says in One Planet, his show, he says 90%, we have lost 90% of the shark population in 30 years.
Right.
And that's what Rob Stewart was trying to do in his Sharkwater extinction movies, until we lost him, unfortunately, in January 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this sort of epiphany, and I quit my job. And I volunteered different jobs off and on for 3 years without pay. And then, in charities, because we don't have big institutions, or we receive zero government funding and very little, if nothing, over the years from other foundations, we're all dependent on people like you and your listeners for keeping us alive. And we literally run on a volunteer air. Volunteers are the lifeblood. I'm the only employee right now for the Shark Foundation.
Yeah.
And, I 2 years ago, I became the executive director. And my mission is really now to educate not just students, but to start campaigns like our Shark Free Company campaign, which is a corporate social responsibility campaign, where we just signed up another company yesterday called Legal Beagle, which is a CPD company, where we're trying to get more corporate people into the green mind that they can make a difference. You don't have to quit your job like I did and really jump in, but people can be passionate in different ways. They can sign petitions, they can take pledges within themselves, but they can spread the pledge around. They could have a company, they could have birthday parties and donate money.
Sure.
They could have corporate company parties, annual dinners. They could choose a charity. I can come and be a speaker. So if they want to give back and save sharks, they not only can be a part of the actual activism of voicing and not eating it, right? But they can also be a part by donating to ensure that we continue.
The fuel, yeah.
Yeah, the absolutely great word. That those donations are the fuel to keep us going.
Right.
And this year, I have to say, 2019 and 2020 have been incredibly difficult for charities, especially in Hong Kong, because we started in June of 2019 with the protests, and then we started with December and January of 2020. We started with the COVID-19. And people are concerned about their jobs and their health and their families. So donating to sort of a very, what some might see as an obscure charity, because they don't see the cause and effect between they don't think sharks are important. But what they don't realize is that they are the cleaners and sort of the keepers of the ocean. And without those apex predators, we will have shark populations that are disappearing, but they also maintain a healthy marine ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we get 50% of our water and 50% of our air from the ocean. And they keep those oceans clean. Without sharks, we will have catastrophic effects. We need to take action now.
What is a really bad day for you in terms of, as an activist, when you come in and you're just like, oh man, are you kidding me?
Well, I think as an activist, a really bad day is when I see people not cooperating together to save sharks and save the planet.
Right. Okay. I hear you. So what day, if you're to look back in the past, say, 4 years, is the flagpole that goes so high in terms of what an achievement, your heart's bursting your chest?
When I go to a school, right, and I plant that seed and that message, and then I see young people like having birthday parties through organizations like Two Presents. I don't know if you know that. It's called Two Presents, and they're an invitation platform. They're really in the schools. When kids decide for their birthday, they want to give some of their birthday money to a charity.
Sweet. Nice.
And in fact, today, when we finish, there's a child coming in here who did exactly that. And then she will come in and we'll talk about the presentation that she saw I give at her school, and we'll thank her. We'll take a little photo.
Nice.
And with her parents' permission, we'll put that on social media, and we'll call her our shark hero.
Nice.
And we give her a little certificate, and she's a shark hero. A great day, and what keeps me going is when I see, kids like that, because they get it. Mm-hmm. They understand it, and they go a little bit further. They want to even give their money, because the reality is we're a business, mm-hmm. and we still have to revenue generate somehow.
Sure.
We don't have much to sell except for education, right? And changing habits. And so that is a bad day too.
Yeah.
When because we go through ups and downs in a charity, and that's why we constantly have leadership succession problems. Because when a leader leaves a small charity like ours, they leave with everything.
Exactly.
And everybody starts from zero.
Exactly.
And not many people want to do that. We just got I'll tell you, we just got involved in an organization called Benevity. Mm-hmm. Benevity is like a vetting company for charities, for corporates.
Okay.
And Moody's, one of Moody's employees in Hong Kong was kind enough to give us a donation. And then Moody's matched it. But we weren't on their list of corporate approved charities.
Right.
So we went through months and months of getting approved. It's an organization out of the US called Benevity.
Okay.
And we became approved. We're probably the smallest charity on there with some of the biggest impact, right, of what we do. And so that just got confirmed today.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It wasn't, a huge amount of money, right?
Little wins. Wins.
But over 1,000 Hong Kong dollars, you can get a tax deductible receipt. That's not so big for people in Hong Kong. For people like in the U.S. who pay a lot of taxes, right, or Australia, or Canada, in the UK, tax deductible receipts are helpful. So that's really, that helps a lot. And we just got a donation from the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. And these are not huge donations, but I have to say the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club is probably one of our best supporters for the last 2 years. And they give us a donation every year, and they're not a huge fundraiser, but it's just that kindness that will keep us going for another month, kind of thing.
So one thing that I realized was that if you can make a difference here, it'll have, because of the its importance in the supply chain, in terms of consumption, in terms of all that stuff, make a difference here, it'll have an impact.
Absolutely. May I give you an example of that?
Yeah.
So there's a 16-year-old girl who goes to private boarding school in New York City. Mm-hmm. She happened to see our Instagram account, because we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Weibo, right? Mm-hmm. She saw our Instagram account, and she went, wow, I want to help those guys. And she reached out to me and she said, hey, I want to help you. I'm a 16-year-old girl. I'm good at social media. What can I do? And we've been working now. Her name's Catherine. She's unbelievable. And you know what? She started something called redbubble.com, as an organization in the US where you can take your brand and put it on any product, right? Mm-hmm. A mug, an apron, a hat, a mask. And she put it on 15, 16 products. And she's been selling our brand in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
No one in the Hong Kong. They're all in the U.S. I think it's because the shipping is kind of prohibitive, right? So I've got all these fans now buying Hong Kong Shark Foundation products in the U.S. So that is an example of the global impact that small things can be done.
That brings up something really interesting, that sometimes it feels like you're pushing a rock up a hill, and it's super heavy, and it's like really frustrating, and your effort is all channeled in that direction, and then somebody pipes up from the side, little voice, hello, I can help. And you're like, what? Who? And then you're like, I'll make these. Sure, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's magic. You're just like, wow.
Keeps me going.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It keeps me going, and really the kids are. They just get it, right? Mm-hmm. And knowing that the kids understand the gravity of this problem, and that they can do little things and be part of those agents of change. Yeah, that keeps me going every day.
I always find, like, the whole thing of the kids, I think what it is just simply they're not anchored to some kind of legacy. Somebody who's 15 now, who's 20 now, their coming of age or their awareness is into this conversation, this awareness, global awareness, where more people are talking about, environmental protection, the issue of oceans, whereas they're not held back by older generations who have this legacy of, oh, we always did this. We've always done this.
Correct.
It's fine, you know. And so a bit of optimism. How do you offer a ray of sunshine to a kid who's like, oh, it looks really bleak. It looks awful. 250 or whatever the number you gave, million sharks still. You know, the number's too big. Like it's almost meaningless, you know. But so what kind of ray of sunshine can you give these young minds? You know, there is room for optimism.
I guess the word I would use is empowerment.
Okay.
Educating young people that they have the ability and the power within them, that they are empowered to make change, is very, very important in a culture, in any society. Because if they're not happy with the way it's going, right, they can make change, just little things, and it will make a difference. And understanding, like Greta Thunberg, that just one person has a knock-on effect,
sure,
right, has a reaction down the line, and that they're not powerless, that they in fact can be empowered, and they can work together. Because as I said, together, they're stronger together, right? And so we have a saying that when the buying stops, the killing stops too. And in Mandarin, we say, 中文我们说, 没有买卖就没有杀害. When the buying stops, then the killing stops too, right? So if they understand that by just stopping the buying has a direct effect on the killing,
sure,
it just, you know, it really sums up what we're trying to do here. You know, we can do it together, whether it's other NGOs. And I don't rely on that. I rely on just basically the hearts and minds of people making little difference through organizations, like I said, Two Presents, or becoming a shark-free company, or having a shark-free wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you've come also from the more corporate side, and you mentioned the CSR model, or say framework within a company, an organization, right? So somebody from the outside, they can come in and they say, okay, can you fold this into your CSR activities or CSR program? Do you feel that at this point, companies are still very much hinged on a clear CSR, the benefit of clear CSR activities? Or do you feel that it was a bit of a fashion, that it kind of came and went?
I think it's actually a bit of both. I think it was a fashion, and I think people are still working on it. It can be a red herring where they just want to flag it up and get credit for it, right? But I do, I definitely think it's super important right now. A lot of companies are really into these SDGs.
What's that?
Sustainable Development Goal.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
They want to have SDGs, and a lot of them are government approved. And the United Nations has 17.
Right.
SDGs, okay? And one of them, number 14, is life below water.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what we're trying to help companies who want to tick that number 14 or get an SDG, you know, for their corporate social responsibility policy. We can help them to meet that need. And, you know, green is still something that's very new for a lot of companies. You know, the basic 4 food groups of charities are children, giving money being given to children, elderly, poverty, and disabled or ill. And so we don't fall within that.
Yeah.
You know, even our own Operation Santa Claus, when you apply to receive money from it, it says very clearly at the bottom of the application, no religious or animal rights organizations may apply.
Right.
So we need to change that. And, okay, you know, they may have changed that within the last couple of years since I saw that, but I don't think so.
Right.
But we need to change that mindset, because the way I see it is, you know how you're on a plane and they say, well, if the oxygen mask drops down, put it on you first and then cover your child.
Yeah.
I believe the green factor, the oceans, the climate change, the sharks, you know, I believe these factors are the umbrella which are over the children, the poverty, the elderly. Because if we don't have clean water, if we don't have clean air, if we don't have a healthy environment, right? If we're eating sharks with heavy metal in them, like heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, lead, right? And that's just not in sharks, by the way. Pretty much all fish has that. We need to stop eating. So, that big picture is the atmosphere, is the environment, the green issue, which protects all those at the bottom.